Hello cubers and citizens of cyberspace. What I'm going to show you here is how to lube your cube with this stuff, 3-in-1 professional silicone lubricant, made by the same people as WD-40. It's not WD-40 though, so don't get confused as such. I've tried some other lubes. I've tried mineral oil, Jigaloo, WD-40, and I think another light oil in there. And I find none of them really worked as well as this stuff. So this is what I use almost exclusively. I haven't tried any other silicone lubricants though, so if you have CRC or some other stuff, it should work just as well. I've really never had a cube ever that didn't respond well after lubing it with this stuff. It's almost always noticeably smoother and takes much less effort to make turns. There's only like one cube I had that really didn't respond well, but it didn't respond to like any lube. It was just crap. It was type B, so yeah. As far as actual lubricating method goes, I'll get to that in a sec. One of the most common ways to do it is put the little straw on and then pop out an edge of the cube, spray a little lube on the edges and around the parts you just popped out, put the edge back in, and do that for another maybe 3 or 6 edges, or 3 or 5, so you have either 4 or 6, and then work the stuff in. But that's not the way I do it. I fully disassemble the cube, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'm going to cut, and we'll be back when I have my cube fully disassembled and lined up and ready to lube. Now, as you can see, I have my cube disassembled and lined up and ready for lube. The core I don't lube, so I'm just going to put that aside while I do this. As you can see, they're all lined up nicely, and I don't just do that to be neat. There's actually a purpose in that. And if you notice the way they're lined up, I have, for the edge pieces, I have all the stickered faces down and pointing that way. For the corner pieces, I have all the sticker faces pointing down and mostly forward. And that's so I can spray the lube on one side and not have to worry about spraying the lube all over the sticker pieces. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I try not to press it down full strength, and I don't use a straw either. I find I get better atomization of the spray, so it's a nicer mist without the straw. So basically I come in and I spray as such. I might have to move around here. So I'll come in and kind of spray these faces. Come in from the other side, get the other faces. Once from the top. And then move on to the edge pieces. And I'm going to spray it in that direction instead of in this manner, so that it doesn't get the front edges where the stickers are. I'll come in here. Yep. This is difficult, so close to the floor. Maybe get a little on top as well. And then I'll turn them around and do it for the other side. And there you go. That's all you need to do. Now you need to let it dry. And the drying part is very important. The mistake I had and a lot of other people had when using this lube is that they sprayed it in and then expected the liquid to do the work. And it's not the liquid that does the work. Don't make that mistake. It's not the liquid. You want to let it dry because it's the thin film of, I guess, silicone it leaves behind that's going to make everything smooth. So I'm actually going to head to bed and let this dry overnight. That's the way I usually do it when I lube my cubes. And then I'll be back in the morning for the next part where I put the cube back together. So I'll see you then. Alright, I'm back. It's been about 10 hours. You don't really have to leave it for that long. A few hours usually does, but I was comfortably asleep. So all the liquid is mostly evaporated. There's still a few drops left, so all I'm going to do is wipe off. Just give each cubie a little wipe off to get rid of that, because I like it to be perfectly dry. You could probably just put it back with some liquid in there, but it doesn't really matter. I also didn't really explain before why I don't just pop corners and spray it in. And I did that a few times, and I found unless you're using something to make it dry faster, like a hair dryer, it usually takes a lot longer to dry. Like if you just let it air dry at room temperature, I found mine took like 2 or 3 days to dry to the level where if to the same level as if I did it this way instead. So that's why I don't just pop the corners, I just do this instead. And it's not like I'm in any rush, so yeah, all I have to do is wipe this, put it back together, and then we're good to go. So I'm gonna do that and probably cut. Because there, cube is back together in no particular order though, and nice and smooth. You could still feel it just a tad wet, but that'll go away in a few days. So it doesn't really matter, it's still really smooth and I like it. So there you go. That's how you lube your cube with 3-in-1 silicone lubricant. Hope it helps.